Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Welcome to American Films and Quotes by EnglishClass101.com. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Want to know a fast, fun, and easy way to improve your English? Learn quotes from famous English movies. This is an easy way to learn tons of new phrases, words, and grammar points. By the way, do you want to finally master English? If yes, then get our fast, easy lessons and study tools. Go to EnglishClass101.com and sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description right now. In this lesson, we'll discuss some of the best US movies from prior to 2000. I'll also give you quotes from each film that you can memorize to practice pronunciation. So, let's go to the movies. Number 1. Citizen Kane. This famous American drama was released in 1941. It's an epic tale of Charles Foster Kane's rise from rags to riches through the abuse of power and love. The most famous quote from the film is definitely Kane's deathbed utterance, which is only one word, rosebud. Watch it yourself to learn the mystery behind this word. Number 2. E.T., the extraterrestrial. The 80s brought an unforgettable US blockbuster, this time in the science fiction genre. E.T., the extraterrestrial was directed by Steven Spielberg and won many Oscars. It tells the tender story of a cross-species friendship between a wrinkled, knee-high alien and Elliot, a lonely 10-year-old boy. Just before he leaves for his home planet, E.T. taps Elliot on the chest with a glowing forefinger and says, "I'll be right here." Number 3. Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind is another epic tale that depicts the southern U.S. state of Georgia during the Civil War and the Reconstruction period. It was adapted from Pulitzer Prize winner Margaret Mitchell's novel of the same name. Its most famous quote comes from the lips of Rhett, Scarlett's betrayed lover. Scarlett asks Rhett what she'll do without him, and Rhett famously replies, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." Number 4. Jaws. Another Spielberg success, super scary Jaws topped nearly every US movie list in 1975. It was based on a novel by Peter Benchley and relates the hunt of an enormous killer shark with a taste for human blood. When seeing the monster for the first time, main character Sheriff Brody famously says, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Definitely an understatement. If you have a taste for scary, this is one of the top US movies to watch in the thriller genre. Number 5. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. In 1937, Oscar winner Walt Disney animated the famous fairy tale Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. One of its most famous quotes comes from the lips of surly, pessimistic Grumpy as he grumbles about Snow White joining the Seven Dwarf family. "Pretty soon, she'll be tying your beards up in pink ribbons and spraying you down with that stuff called, perfume." An all-time classic for young and old. Number 6. Star Wars, A New Hope. Star Wars, A New Hope was released in 1977 and is the first film in the Star Wars saga. It's the brainchild of screenwriter and director George Lucas. This US movie series is still one of the most enduring hits of all time. Basically, the film tells the tale of rebels and freedom fighters against the oppressive galactic empire. The most famous quote from the series is, without a doubt, "May the Force be with you." Number 7. The Godfather. The Godfather was an epic story about the rise of a mafia crime family, the Corleones, and specifically the rise of Michael Corleone. It's brutal, bloody, and was a fantastic box office hit that led to another 2 Godfather movies. The Godfather is replete with quotable lines, but the most iconic is from Vito Corleone himself. "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse." Number 8. The Sound of Music. Who doesn't know the evergreen The Sound of Music with its wonderful score? This American musical film, set in Austria at the start of World War II, tells the true story of the Von Trapp family singers and beautiful singer-nun-turned-nanny, Maria. Maria succeeds in winning the heart of her employer, Captain Von Trapp. He also gets the credit for one of the film's most memorable quotes, addressing Maria, "You brought music back into the house. I had forgotten." Number 9. The Wizard of Oz. Another film that still enchants children and adults alike is the iconic 1939 The Wizard of Oz. It is chock full of colorful characters, including witches, a lion, a scarecrow, and of course, a Kansas farm girl called Dorothy. The movie is filled with homegrown truths, and a lesser-known one comes from the Cowardly Lion, who says, What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. Number 10. Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur is a multiple Academy Award-winning epic film directed by William Wyler, which is the third film version of Lew Wallace's 1880 novel Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ. The story is about a Jewish prince who battles the Roman Empire in the time of Christ. One of the wiser quotes from the film comes from Messala, who tells his friend Ben-Hur, "It's an insane world, but in it there's one sanity, the loyalty of old friends." Number 11. Casablanca. Casablanca was released in 1942 and directed by Michael Curtiz. It's a classic World War II story that centers on the life of a cynical nightclub owner, Rick Blaine, and the self-sacrificing choices he has to make for love. It also sports one of the most famous movie quotes of all time, which was derived from a quintessentially American toast. The toast originated from an 1884 novel that was written by an anonymous author, and Blaine uses it when he toasts Ilsa with, "Here's looking at you, kid." Number 12. Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is an award-winning 1994 American comedy-drama film based on a novel of the same name by Winston Groom. It centers around the main character's life journey as he meets important people and experiences historic events. There probably aren't many people who don't know Forrest Gump's famous saying. My mama always said, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get." A hugely popular, gentle, heartwarming watch. Number 13. The Matrix. The Matrix. This movie managed to gain a cult following and inspired many copycats with its novel treatment of special effects. Released in 1999, this science fiction film shows a future with an alternate reality controlled by machines and attempts by humans to escape into actual reality. The film was the basis for a series of Matrix movies, video games, and other paraphernalia. Soundbites abound, like this one from the deep-voiced Morpheus talking to Neo, the main character. "You're a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, into a prison that you cannot taste, or see, or touch. A prison for your mind." Number 14. Rebel Without a Cause. Rebel Without a Cause was directed by Nicholas Ray in 1955 and tells the story of a rebellious teenager played by James Dean. It was an attempt to portray the moral decay of American youth and critique parental styles. The main star, James Dean, died tragically in a car accident a month before the movie premiered. Prophetically, his troubled teenage character, Jim Stark, says about his situation with his parents, "I don't know what to do anymore, except maybe die." Number 15. Singin' in the Rain. The wildly famous 1952 musical comedy starring Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds depicted the early Hollywood industry during its transition from silent movies to talkies. Says Cosmo Brown in a bleak comment about talkies, "Talking pictures, that means I'm out of a job. At last I can start suffering and write that symphony." Gene Kelly's performance in Singin' in the Rain is still considered one of the best dance scenes in movie history. Number 16. The Shawshank Redemption. This inspiring and moving American drama was released in 1994 and is based on a Stephen King novella called Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. It follows the story of a fictional prison and inmate, Andy Dufresne, who is imprisoned for a murder he didn't commit. Andy overcomes many obstacles in prison, famously deciding that, "I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living or get busy dying." This is the type of movie you'll want to watch more than once. Number 17. Psycho. Psycho is yet another Alfred Hitchcock thriller, this time starring Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins. The film, which was released in 1960, follows the story of a female motel guest and its manager, who turns out to be a deeply disturbed killer. The movie's graphic shower scene is considered to be one of the most memorable in cinematic history. Norman Bates, the infamous killer, chillingly says, "We all go a little mad sometimes." Watch what is considered to be one of Hitchcock's best films to see just how mad Bates got. So, how did you like this list? Which ones have you watched already? Did we miss any of your favorites? Let us know in the comments. And if you're having trouble understanding the movies we talked about today, go to EnglishClass101.com and sign up for your free lifetime account. To learn more English the fast, fun, and easy way, just click the link in the description right now. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!